6 hyenas form a tight circle around the baby elephant in the middle of the clearing. The calf is tiny, barely 3 months old, spinning in place and screaming in desperation. His cries echo across the savanna, a heartbreaking plea for his mother that goes unanswered. Emily Carter sees this from a distance, and her heart stops. This is the moment every ranger in Africa dreads most: an abandoned elephant calf, face to face with a pack of starving predators. The pack's alpha male, sporting a torn ear like a battle scar, lunges first. His razor-sharp teeth snap into the calf's hind leg. The baby elephant stumbles backward and crashes into another hyena lurking behind. This one immediately clamps down on the calf's tiny tail. Emily floors the gas pedal. The Jeep tears through the bush, its hood snapping dry branches like twigs. The clearing is just ahead, but she knows she needs to be faster. A third hyena charges from the side, aiming straight for the calf's hamstring. Their signature move: immobilize the prey by attacking the weakest points, then slowly tear it apart. The Jeep explodes into the clearing at near uncontrollable speed. Emily grabs the rifle from the passenger seat and fires into the air. The shot cracks like thunder across the silent savanna. The hyenas flinch and halt their attack, but they don't retreat far. Experience tells her this pack is too familiar with humans, far more dangerous than typical wild hyenas. The pack stops about 20 yards away, staring intently at Emily and the elephant calf. They begin their eerie whooping calls to each other, strategizing their next move. She jumps out of the vehicle, grabs a flare gun, and aims it at the ground near the alpha's feet. The flare erupts in blinding red light with a deafening crack. Finally, the pack backs down. The alpha barks a command, and the hyenas turn tail and disappear into the tall grass. But Emily knows they won't go far. They're just waiting for the right opportunity to return. The elephant calf stands in the middle of the clearing, trembling from head to toe. Blood drips from his bitten tail, but fortunately, the wound isn't deep, just a surface scratch on the thick hide. Emily slowly approaches, trying not to startle the already traumatized baby further. Then something unexpected happens. The calf suddenly takes a few steps toward her, gently nudging her leg with that small trunk and whimpering pitifully. In that instant, Emily understands. The calf is completely alone. No mother, no herd, and now sees her as the only hope for survival. Elephants never abandon their young unless something catastrophic has happened. This calf must have been swept away, separated from the herd during migration, and now finds himself alone in the vast savanna. Leaving him here would be a certain death sentence. Those hyenas would return within minutes of Emily's departure. Emily pulls out her radio and reports the situation to base. The voice on the other end confirms they're logging it and will provide support if needed. But now the decision rests with her. She needs to find the calf's family, and fast. Emily scans the clearing, her eyes searching for the signs nature leaves behind. Deep impressions from heavy feet, broken branches, fresh dung piles. Everything tells a story for those who know how to read it. About 50 yards to the west, she discovers deep furrows in the ground. Adult elephants had passed through here, and recently the trampled grass hasn't yet stood back up. The tracks lead northwest, toward distant hills on the horizon. Emily signals for the calf to follow. Miraculously, the baby understands immediately and runs after her, those small legs trying desperately to keep pace with each of her strides. Sometimes the calf stumbles from running too eagerly, but quickly gets back up and continues, clearly too terrified to be left alone. They follow the trail, and Emily continuously spots new signs showing the herd had passed through. Acacia branches stripped at her eye level, fresh dung piles not yet scattered by dung beetles. The herd had come through less than an hour ago. They're on the right track. The tracks lead them down into a dry riverbed. The mud is cracked like crocodile skin. Large boulders scattered about, creating an eerie landscape. The calf steps carefully on the uneven ground, afraid of falling. Emily stops abruptly when she spots something in the damp earth beside a small puddle. Leopard tracks, so fresh the toe pads are still clearly defined, not yet blurred by wind. Her heart races. The hair on the back of her neck stands up. She looks around slowly, avoiding sudden movements. The large boulders overhead form a small ridge, the perfect spot for a predator to ambush. A golden shadow moves above. The female leopard leaps down from the boulder, landing gracefully with terrifying agility 15 yards away. Muscles ripple beneath her beautiful spotted coat. Those yellow eyes lock onto Emily, not the gaze of hunger, but the warning stare of a mother. Then she hears soft mewling from the grass behind the leopard. Two cubs, no more than 3 months old, curled up beneath a small bush. They watch with wide, curious, innocent eyes. Now Emily understands the mother leopard isn't hunting them. She's protecting her young. And this is the most dangerous situation in the wild. A mother with cubs is unpredictable, willing to sacrifice everything to protect what's most precious. The leopard takes a step toward them, head lowered close to the ground, ears flattened against her skull. Tail swishing horizontally, all warning signs of an imminent attack. The elephant calf spots the leopard and trumpets in terror. The leopard startles and snarls viciously, a bone-chilling sound that echoes through the dry riverbed. In a split second, Emily must decide: retreat toward the waiting hyenas behind them, or advance and face a leopard ready to fight. She places her hand on the calf's head, keeping him calm, then begins moving to the left, very slowly, inch by inch, eyes toward the leopard, but never making direct eye contact. It's a survival rule when facing big cats. Direct eye contact is considered a challenge. The leopard tracks their every movement. She begins walking parallel, maintaining exactly 15 yards of distance. Emily's heart pounds like a jackhammer. Sweat runs down her back despite the moderate temperature. 5 minutes. 5 minutes that feel like 5 hours, moving slowly along the dry riverbed. The leopard continues watching, never taking her eyes off them. The calf trembles beneath Emily's hand, but doesn't cry out anymore, perhaps understanding that silence is the key to survival. Finally, they reach a bend in the riverbed. The leopard stops, observing them from a distance with vigilant eyes. As they disappear around the bend, Emily hears her final growl, not a threat, but more like a warning. Never come back. 20 minutes after escaping the leopard, they arrive at another dry riverbed, wider, with patches of green grass scattered about. Emily stops immediately when she sees what lies ahead. A buffalo herd is grazing on the other side, about 30 animals, with several massive bulls forming a protective perimeter around the group. They notice the intruders almost instantly. The nearest bull raises his head, saliva dripping from his mouth as he pauses mid-chew, staring at them with suspicious eyes. His horns are terrifying, massive, curved like scythes, with points that could pierce even thick rhino hide. Cape buffalo are among Africa's most dangerous animals, killing more people each year than lions. And now they're standing right in the path, blocking an aggressive herd's territory. The bull snorts heavily, his breath creating clouds of white vapor in the afternoon air. He takes a few steps toward them, lowering his head into a ready-to-charge position. The calf senses the danger, pressing against Emily's leg and whimpering softly. Emily knows the rules when facing buffalo. Don't run because they're faster. Don't make eye contact because they see it as a challenge. Don't move suddenly because they'll react with instinctive aggression. She places her hand on the calf's head, signaling silence, and begins moving left slowly, one step at a time. The bull suddenly stamps the ground and makes a mock charge, a classic threat display. The calf jerks and tries to run, but Emily grabs the small ear and holds him in place, continuing to walk with mechanical, steady pacing. Another bull joins in, stepping out from the herd. Now there are two, both watching them with menacing severity. A cow, likely the herd matriarch, also moves closer, observing them with a leader's protective wariness. They circle the buffalo herd for 10 agonizing minutes, taking a long detour through dry grass higher than their knees. Every step must be carefully considered. Sweat soaks through Emily's shirt. Her heart hammers in her chest like it wants to break free. The herd gradually loses interest when they realize the intruders pose no threat. They return to their daily grazing, though occasionally still glancing their way. When they finally reach the far bank of the riverbed, Emily breathes a sigh of relief, feeling like she's just escaped death. The elephant tracks continue forward, heading toward a cluster of baobab trees on the hillside. Hope begins rising in her chest. Half an hour later, Emily hears what she's been waiting for. The distinctive rumbling of large elephants somewhere behind the baobab trees. She quickens her pace, and the calf seems to sense something too. The baby trumpets excitedly and runs ahead, his small trunk raised high. A herd of elephants emerges from behind the baobabs, 8 adult females and several calves. Emily's calf rushes toward them with joyful calls, his small feet bouncing across the ground. But something is wrong. Emily senses it immediately from how the herd reacts. The nearest cow turns toward the calf, flares her ears, and trumpets a warning, a low, threatening sound. The baby stops dead in his tracks, confused. The second cow stamps the ground hard, creating reverberating thuds. The third swings her long trunk through the air, an unmistakably threatening gesture. They're rejecting the calf. This can only mean one thing. This is a strange herd, not his family. Elephants recognize each other primarily by scent, and this calf smells like a stranger, probably because he's been in contact with Emily in the Jeep too long. Emily rushes forward and grabs the calf, pulling him back. A cow suddenly charges at frightening speed, her tusks swinging so close she feels the powerful wind rush past her face. She retreats quickly, clutching the trembling calf until they're at a safe distance. The baby whimpers pitifully, not understanding why he's being rejected by other elephants. His cries are full of anguish, calling to the herd but receiving only cold indifference. Emily realizes the cruel truth. They've been following the wrong trail all along. Somewhere out there in the vast savanna is this calf's real mother, and they have to start the search all over again. All their efforts escaping the leopard, facing down the buffalo, all meaningless if they can't find the right herd. They return to the fork in the trail where the tracks diverged, and then Emily discovers something that makes her blood run cold. 3 hyenas sitting on a distant hill, watching them like dark phantoms. The same pack. She recognizes the alpha with the torn ear, even from this distance. They've been tracking them the entire time, patiently waiting for a moment of weakness or lost vigilance. Every passing minute could be their last. Emily returns to the fork and this time follows the second path, a fainter trail, almost impossible to notice without careful observation. The size of the footprints clearly shows this faint track belongs to a solitary cow. She's traveling alone, without a herd. This is very strange. Elephant cows always travel together, protecting each other. A lone cow can only mean something is seriously wrong. The calf suddenly stops, raises his trunk high, and begins sniffing the air. His ears flare up, his whole body tenses. Then he makes a short, excited sound and bolts forward so fast Emily can barely keep up. The calf has recognized his mother's scent. Blood bonds never lie. They burst into a clearing at the base of a hill, and Emily sees a solitary acacia tree with a broad canopy. Lying beneath it is the cow elephant, massive, motionless as a boulder. She isn't moving. Not even her ears are twitching. Her chest barely rises and falls. The calf races toward his mother with a piercing, desperate cry and begins prodding her mouth with his trunk, pushing, trying to lift her up. The cow doesn't respond at all. She lies still as if dead. Emily runs over and places her hand on her neck, checking for a pulse. Her skin is still warm, but she can't feel any heartbeat. Have they arrived too late? Has everything they've endured, the hyenas, the leopard, the buffalo, all been for nothing? Then the elephant slowly raises her head, slowly, laboriously, but she's still alive. The mother's eyes are clouded, covered by a thin film. Her breathing is heavy and raspy, each breath a struggle. The calf cries out in joy and nestles against his mother's side, his small trunk constantly touching her body. And finally, Emily understands the cause of everything that's happened. On the cow's right front leg, just above the knee, is a massive abscess, a swelling the size of a football, grayish-white, with skin stretched so tight it looks ready to burst. A severe infection. The elephant can't walk normally because of the pain. Every step is torture. That's why she fell behind the herd. That's why she couldn't keep up when the calf wandered too far to play. That's why the calf was left alone in the savanna, becoming an easy target for the hyena pack. Emily grabs her radio with trembling hands and calls for backup. The voice on the other end assures her the vet team will arrive immediately. But will they make it in time? Will the mother have the strength to wait? Emily sits down beside the elephant and waits. The calf, finally reunited with his mother, calms down. He curls up next to her, his small trunk wrapped around her larger one. He feels safe with his mother again. That's all an elephant calf needs. 30 minutes later, a dust cloud appears on the horizon. A pickup truck from the vet team roars in at high speed, braking hard and leaving long skid marks in the sand. Dr. Harris and Clara, the two best veterinarians in the region, jump out, hurriedly hauling heavy equipment. They quickly assess the situation. Dr. Harris examines the abscess and frowns with concern. Clara takes the temperature, checks the heartbeat, records all the vital signs. They exchange medical terms Emily doesn't fully understand, but their grave expressions say it all. Dr. Harris explains the problem. They need to help the elephant stand up. The abscess is on the inside of the leg. Lying down won't allow the fluid to drain properly. The pus will flow into the muscle instead of out. Clara fills a syringe with mild sedative and injects it at the base of the ear, where the skin is thinnest and the medicine will enter the bloodstream fastest. She explains this is a special formula. The elephant will be able to stand, but won't feel pain or spasm. After a few minutes, the elephant begins responding to the medication. She slowly, unsteadily, tries to stand up. First, the elephant folds her two front legs beneath her, then the back legs, and finally pushes herself upright. Her eyes are half closed, her body swaying dangerously, but she finally stands firm. Dr. Harris approaches with surgical instruments, telling them this is a severe infection, at least 2 weeks old. It's remarkable the elephant has survived this long. He takes a scalpel and makes a deep incision into the abscess. A stream of thick, yellowish-gray pus shoots out from the wound under high pressure. The stench spreads through the air. The calf sees this and rushes toward his mother with worried cries, trying to push Dr. Harris away with his small trunk. He thinks his mother is being attacked. Emily grabs the calf and pulls him aside, holding tight despite his struggles. The baby trembles in her arms, but gradually calms down and just stands nearby, eyes never leaving his mother. Clara flushes the wound cavity with antiseptic solution. Dr. Harris carefully removes dead tissue. The elephant stands motionless thanks to the sedative, only occasionally shifting from one leg to another. The surgery is proceeding smoothly, but then everything suddenly changes. The elephant's ears jerk violently, then her whole body convulses. Clara cries out in horror. She can't find a pulse anymore. The mother elephant stops breathing. Her chest no longer rises and falls, eyes still closed, but her body suddenly becomes frighteningly still. Dr. Harris shouts, "This is a reaction to the sedative. The weakened body can't handle the dosage." Clara rushes to the equipment box for adrenaline. Dr. Harris has already jumped onto the elephant's side, hands stacked over the heart position, beginning compressions with all his strength. He counts each compression aloud. For a large animal like an elephant, CPR requires the full force of your entire body. Sweat drips from Dr. Harris's face onto the gray hide of the elephant. The calf realizes something is terribly wrong. He rushes toward his mother, crying desperately, his trunk prodding her mouth. Emily grabs him and pulls him away, holding tight. The calf trembles violently, then stops struggling. He understands. He knows his mother is dying. Clara injects adrenaline into a major vein. She calls out the time, 45 seconds with no response. 1 minute. If the brain goes without oxygen for more than a minute, the damage will be irreversible. Dr. Harris continues chest compressions without stopping. 1 minute, 10 seconds, 1 minute, 20 seconds. Then the elephant's ear twitches, a small twitch, almost imperceptible. Clara shouts, "There's a pulse!" Weak, but there. Dr. Harris stops compressions, presses his ear to the elephant's chest. 5 seconds of absolute silence as the whole world seems to stop turning. The mother elephant inhales, a deep, raspy, labored breath, but it's the breath of life. Her chest begins rising and falling again. The pulse steadies. Dr. Harris collapses onto the sand, panting from exhaustion. Clara laughs through tears. They've just brought the mother elephant back from the brink of death. Emily releases the calf. The baby rushes to his mother's side, his trunk gently touching her mouth. The mother elephant calls softly, weak but clear, a sound of life, a sound of hope. The surgery continues for another hour after that. Dr. Harris places a drain tube so the pus can continue flowing out. Clara injects antibiotics and anti-inflammatories. When they finish, Dr. Harris says the elephant will survive and will be as good as new within a month. They found her just in time, just a few more days, and the infection would have spread to her bloodstream. The elephant gradually wakes from the sedative. Her eyes brighten, she looks around and calls softly. The calf immediately runs over, nuzzling against his mother's mouth. The mother elephant uses her trunk to embrace her baby, a deeply moving scene. She cautiously takes a few steps, and Emily witnesses the miracle before her eyes. The wound has been treated, the pain is gone. For the first time in 2 weeks, the elephant can walk without enduring torturous agony. Over the next 2 weeks, Emily visits them every day, checking bandages, changing the drain tube, administering antibiotics. The calf recognizes the sound of her Jeep engine from afar and runs out to greet her, trumpeting happily like meeting an old friend. The mother elephant is recovering before her eyes at an astonishing rate. The wound is gradually healing, her strength returning. She finds her own food and water. Her skin color changes from dull gray to healthy bright gray. Her eyes are no longer clouded. By the 3rd week, the abscess has almost completely healed, leaving only a pale pink scar. Emily prepares to remove the drain tube the next day, but nature has other plans. That day, something feels different in the air. The birds are unusually silent. Wind blows from the west, carrying the heavy scent of rain. The sky darkens, though it's only 3 p.m., signs of a major storm approaching. The radio crackles to life. A message from base. A large storm system is moving into the area, expected to make landfall in 2 hours with wind speeds up to 50 miles per hour. Emily needs to evacuate immediately. She looks at the mother elephant and her calf. The mother still has bandages, the drain tube. Can't move quickly, and if the storm hits, a distant sound makes her heart race. Elephants calling to each other, many of them. A large herd approaching. The elephant herd appears from the north, more than 15 animals migrating to escape the coming storm. The calf sees them and trumpets more excitedly than ever. Emily recognizes immediately, this is the calf's herd, the real one this time. The scent, the sounds, the way they move, everything is familiar to the baby. The matriarch, large with long tusks, radiating the dignity of a leader, approaches. The mother elephant steps toward the herd, the calf running alongside, filled with hope. Finally, this is the moment they've been waiting for these past 3 weeks. But the matriarch stops 10 yards away, trunk raised, sniffing the air. Then her ears flare up, a warning sign. The mother elephant moves closer, calling softly with a pleading tone, asking for acceptance. But the matriarch trumpets a warning. The other elephants also begin flaring their ears, restlessly shifting. Emily immediately understands the problem. The smell, the scent of medicine, antiseptic, artificial bandages. For elephants, creatures who live by their sense of smell, this is no longer one of them. This is a being marked by humans, contaminated by the outside world. The matriarch steps closer, examining the wound, the drain tube. Then she suddenly charges, using her tusks to jab at the mother elephant, not hard enough to injure, but an unmistakably clear gesture of rejection. The mother elephant backs away, pain evident on her face. Not physical pain, but emotional anguish. Being rejected by your own herd is the greatest pain for an elephant. The calf runs toward the herd, trying to slip between the larger elephants, but they push him away, gently but firmly. The message is crystal clear. There's no place for those who carry the scent of humans. The wind begins strengthening. The first raindrops fall, cold and heavy. The storm is closing in. The matriarch turns back to her herd, signaling departure. The elephants begin moving southeast toward rock caves to shelter from the storm. The calf stands in the middle, torn between 2 irreconcilable choices. On this side is his mother, injured, smelling of humans, rejected by the herd. On that side is the herd, safety, protection, but without his mother. A terrible decision no elephant calf should ever have to face. Emily knows what she can do. She can remove the bandages right now, pull out the drain tube, wash away the smell of medicine. She can intervene one more time to help them. But a bigger question haunts her, should she? When will humans stop interfering with nature? When will we let nature decide its own fate? Is she truly helping or making things worse? Clara places her hand on Emily's shoulder, her voice urgent. The storm is coming. They must decide now. The calf looks at Emily with pleading wide eyes, then at his mother, then toward the departing herd. Emily takes a deep breath and makes her decision. She runs to the mother elephant, begins removing the bandages with trembling hands. Dr. Harris helps her carefully remove the drain tube. Clara catches the falling rain, washing the wound clean, washing away every trace of medicine and bandages. Emily shouts at the calf, signaling him to run. Chase the herd, right now. The calf hesitates, unwilling to leave his mother, but the mother elephant understands what needs to happen. She uses her trunk to gently push the calf toward the herd, making a low, deep sound. Not rejection, but loving encouragement. The calf finally runs with all his might toward the herd, disappearing into the thick curtain of rain. The mother elephant also begins running after him, slow at first, her legs still somewhat painful, then faster as her body adapts. No more bandages, no more drain tube, no more human scent. Just an elephant cow running in the rain, chasing her baby and her herd. The rain pours down harder and harder. The wind howls. Emily stands with Dr. Harris and Clara, watching the two dark shapes fade into the rain. The matriarch stops in the distance, turns her head to look back, trunk raised, sniffing. The smell has changed. No more medicine scent, no more traces of humans. Only the smell of rain, of earth, of an elephant that belongs to the savanna. The wound has healed. The pain has passed. This is their elephant, returned home. The herd waits. The mother and calf run toward them, merging into the center of the group. Trunks wrap around each other in warm greeting. Joyful trumpeting rings out, drowning even the sound of the storm wind. Emily stands in the rain, clothes soaking wet, watching them go. Dr. Harris and Clara beside her, also silently observing. The herd moves like a single organism, protecting each other from the storm. The large mother elephant walks in the middle, the small calf running close beside her, his short legs trying to keep pace. They head toward the rock caves at the base of the hills, a safe place to shelter. Clara asks Emily the question she's already asking herself. Did they do the right thing? Emily doesn't have a definite answer, but she knows one thing. They gave two elephants a chance to live, a chance to reunite, a chance to return to where they belong. The rest is up to them, up to nature. The herd disappears into the thick curtain of rain across the savanna. Thunder rumbles. The storm has arrived, but somewhere in that storm, a family has reunited. An elephant calf has found his mother again. A mother elephant has found her herd again. And perhaps, just perhaps, that's all that matters. 6 months later, Emily returns to that area on a routine patrol, and she sees them, a large herd, nearly 20 elephants, moving peacefully across the savanna. In the middle of the herd, a cow elephant with a pale pink scar on her front leg. Beside her, a calf, now twice as big, healthy, energetic, playing with the other young elephants. They've completely integrated. No one remembers the difficult days anymore. No one remembers the humans who once intervened. And perhaps that's the most beautiful ending. When human help becomes invisible, when nature continues on its own course, when an elephant calf grows up in the protective embrace of the herd, unaware that once he faced death alone. Emily watches them fade into the distance and smiles. This is why she does this work. Not for recognition, not for praise, but simply for moments like this, when life triumphs, when families reunite, when the African savanna continues telling stories of hope and survival. The story of an elephant calf and his journey home.